I don't know what any of this shit is, and I'm fucking scared.
First, you're gonna tell me about this science stuff.
Sorry about that. What is a scientist?
You caught me like I'm experimenting with
Science!
It's like magic with electricity.
I know that. I'm not stupid. I'm smarter than you.
The smartest scientists in the entire world all agree
Science is a liar sometimes.
Seriously, this could not seem less scientific.
Those idiots don't know anything about science.
It's science.
I believe it's pronounced science.
This is the least scientific thing I've ever seen.
So I'm just experimenting with them.
You be quiet.
Thank you, scientist.
Yeah. No, this is a I don't know how much we're going to talk about, but we'll try to talk about stuff.
Yeah, you sent me like over 20 minutes of videos, and we don't even talk about science for 20 minutes on this. I don't know how we're going to try to get it all in one, but we'll fucking certainly try.
Yeah.
We'll certainly
try. We have topics for later shows, or I don't know.
Yeah, or we could break it into a couple of parters, and you can let me cram and study. By the way, I have not had anything recreate what it felt like the semester of college that I failed out, like this specific amount of information, because it was like, oh, this is so much stuff. I didn't read or watch enough, and now I'm drunk. I hope I can.
Someone's going to quiz me.
Yeah, fuck. Under the guise of science, I am Charles or Charlie. I don't know what I'm going with yet. Names are dumb.
Yeah, pick it, whatever you like. I'm Chris or Christopher, but nobody calls me Christopher. I'm Chris. I'm back home, so hopefully it doesn't sound like I'm inside an empty hangar. And
I can make it sound like that in post. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I'll just set it to dance hall and turn it all the way up to 100, and it'll sound fine.
All right.
But names, man, like we keep forgetting to say our names, but we're just coming around to where names are fun again. Like our own names are fun again. Like we've been friends for long enough and haven't ever called each other by our own names.
Right.
And now it's a joke to us. Like we think it's funny, but
the names have become the nicknames, and the nicknames are like the regular terms.
Yeah. Like it's saying, "Hey, Chris," is like
yeah, I chuckle.
Yeah.
Charles.
Yeah. And I don't even like that's. That like on my own personal note is I started referring to myself as Charles at work or anytime anybody asks me my name within the last year or two, just because it made me laugh because I've never done it before. So I just started going, they're like, "Hey, what's your name?" "Charles," and I'll chuckle to myself and no one else gets it.
Yeah, and no, yeah, it's on his birth certificate. Why is that funny?
Yeah, it's on all of my forms of identification. Yeah. I remember a friend of mine's wife was we were having a conversation and I was talking about how I hate my name. She was like, "I like your name. Why don't you like your name?" And I was like, "Well, it sounds dumb all the time. Anytime I say my name, it sounds dumb." She's like, "Say your name." I was like, "Charles." She's like, "Well, yeah, you're saying it fucking stupid. Say it fucking normal."
Charles.
But
hitting every
I want to
letter.
I want to hit all the letters. That's why they're in there. There's no silent R or silent L or any of the other fucking. Do they have silent L's?
Talk. Like the word talk, as it say. You don't say talk.
Talk.
Walk.
Walk and talk. I mean, I blame the part of the country we're from.
Llama.
On
the
that.
second L is silent. You only say one of the L's.
Fuck, you scienced me out of English. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. We're 4 minutes in. We said our names. We said the name of the thing we're doing. Fucking
Good start.
awesome. We are so far ahead of schedule this time.
Yeah, like at the end. Oh shit, that's right. You've been listening too.
You've been listening to the docile tones of Under the Guise of Science. Oh, man. Wow. Now I'm totally thrown off because we got all that shit out of the way up front. Let's do some corrections, specifically off of last episode. Number 1, I was trying to make a joke about, I don't even remember the setup for it, but I ended up saying Greeks eating grapes on stone chaise lounges. What I had pictured in my head was a hedonism bot from Futurama, which I can send you a photo to, but it does the voice that I was doing, which is oh yes, how delightful, like that kind of a thing. And I said Greek. I meant to say ancient Greek because I don't mean Greek, swarthy Mediterranean looking. I meant Greek, ancient Greek, played by pasty British actors,
right,
at the start of film, and they're the ones who did all the, you know, like all that stuff.
That's my favorite thing about American movies. Well, not my favorite thing, but American movies, if they want you to think this took place a long time ago, they throw in a British accent.
Yeah, or a bad guy.
Yeah.
Either this is a long time ago, or this person has some ill-conceived intentions.
But
no, that means thought of wrong. Never mind. You talk. I'm dumb.
No, what's that movie? It was recently. It was a Gladiator or something like that. There's a one on HBO too. There was a show about it. But regardless, my point is, it took place in Italy, right? Rome. That's where Italy. Why do they all have British accents? Like, shouldn't it be?
Yeah, like, and I feel like
excuse me, you're talking my face.
And fucking Russell Crowe's name was the Spaniard, and he just talked with an Australian accent.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure there's fucking comedians doing jokes about this 20 plus years ago when the movie came out.
Yeah, that's
hopefully they're all dead.
We didn't hear them, so we're not stealing it. Probably wasn't good anyway.
And one of the dudes did have that that kind of a voice. It was the guy with the pointy eyebrows who would announce the fights.
Okay.
It wasn't Commodus. It was another Greek sounding name or Roman sounding name. I don't know, but he had a very yes, of course, sire. And he would have like he had big, silly, curly hair, even though he was clearly bald. So yeah, I apologize for that mistake.
In this corner, we have a lion. In this corner, a Christian.
Hey, we got a Christian over here, and then we gotta put a couple of tigers. They want a tiger, I give you your second tiger, no extra charge. Guy said he want a tiger, I give him 2 tigers, okay? You come on back and look at my 2 giraffes. I got 2 giraffes. You want to fight a giraffe? Fuck you can fight a giraffe. You give me money under the table.
Nice. That's I kept poking it. I was like, "Don't leave this, Charles. Come on."
You did this unprompted for a year and a half. Why would you stop now?
Yeah.
Why are you suddenly not interested in doing a Mario voice to encompass all Italians?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. All right. Well, I'm going to have to remember that one. I'm going to have to remember that I speak Italian fluently.
Yeah.
And see the other. So the other mistake was, which I didn't realize until you shared the list of links, that I said Thomas Edison invented the telephone when it was Alexander Graham Bell.
Yeah.
But I did Google it, and Thomas Edison also ripped off Alexander Graham Bell and quote unquote made it better. So so that still stands. There's nothing wrong with that joke. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, as you can clearly see, Edison was ripping everybody off. in his heyday, and that's why he got all his patents. And I'm sure if we went to His Honor Fred Gwynn from from My Cousin Vinny, I'm sure he would agree. Your Honor, would you allow it?
All right. All right. I don't even know if that sounded like what I did last time.
I was doing it the whole next day.
Nice.
like just not even listening to it, just going, just trying to, just, and like you could see him too, like his jaw is just slack open while he's doing it.
You have to like picture extra tongue and like to make the sound right. There's like a fullness. I don't know.
There's a tongue fullness.
There's an art to this stupid noise that we're saying is an impression.
Looks like any jerk off the street can just get up and make impressions.
Not the case.
No. And we've just proven it scientifically. So those are the corrections.
Okay.
Do you have any?
But
corrections?
I just want to say I don't want to leave you stranded out there alone, because I also should have known that Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone, but you made that joke, and I was full speed ahead with you, so I completely was like, yeah, that's right. And so.
Well, it was a fun premise. It's shitting on Edison, and it also involved talking about sending pictures of shit,
right,
with said invention that they just barely got sound through.
And I think given all those, we hit the important points. We just missed. Yeah. We don't do it. If you want names, this is not the podcast, as we've already established with Tracy Ullman in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Yeah, and Danold and Donnie. There you go, Danold and Donnie Glover. I'm saying it that way.
Right.
I'm not going to backtrack now. Yeah, we're not good at stuff, but we'll acknowledge it.
Yeah,
that's your fault for getting your science from us. That's what you get for doing your own research.
It's funny, as stupid as we are, I think we get the science part the best.
Yeah, well, that's totally on you, and I appreciate you lugging that weight.
Oh, thanks, pal.
Oh, no problem. I wrote a note. Yesterday. I heard someone say Dollar Tree, like the store Dollar Tree.
Yeah.
And then in my head, I immediately came up with a scenario and a game where, like, and you can use it on your kids to either get them to love you or hate you, teach them math or hate you. So what you do is initially you pull out just like a handful of change, and you go, I got 2 quarters, 5 dimes, and 3 pennies. Guess I got a Dollar Tree. But then you get someone else involved, and they can just yell out whatever combination they have that adds up to the 103 cents. And you can respond with, "Oh, what do you got? A Dollar Tree?" So I got 2 quarters, 5 nickels, 2 dimes, and 8 pennies.
Hey, it sounds like a Dollar Tree.
Yeah, what do you got? A Dollar Tree? And then also, I'd like to believe that there was a guy who was going to Dollar Trees in an area where the sales tax was 3% and just absolutely making the cashiers' lives hell. Just going in, just buying one thing, And will that be all today? He goes, yeah, what's it cost? $1 tree? Like that's his version of, oh, it didn't scan. I guess it's free.
Yeah, right.
But at least he's doing a bit. So I'll fucking, I would allow that if someone came in with that much.
He'd go over to the registers and goes, guys, no, you can't be mad. There's some creativity here.
Like there's a really old guy that works at my job, and he just walks around and he does the same 5 jokes to everybody all day long, every single person he bumps into. And like one of them just goes, whoa, payday today, right? Payday? It's payday today, tomorrow? And it's just always asking when payday is. And I've worked at this specific location for 9 years now, and he is unrelenting.
Still on it.
Still on it. And he was doing it before I was there. He also says things like, I got paid by the minute. What are you, busy? And who's dopier, me or him? And just points to somebody else.
Okay.
And just does not stop.
Jesus.
And yeah, and there's days that it's like, I really appreciate your commitment to the bit. I really do. I really do. I feel like I would have made myself so uncomfortable with this.
Yeah.
But he's also in his he's in his mid-70s, and he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
He does not give a fuck about any of it. So he just keeps fucking doing it.
And especially because when you're at that age, like, anyone that comes into your life is not going to be in it for very long. You know, they're like, they move into somewhere else or whatever, finding a new thing, or, young people come and go to him. So he's probably got his established lines that he just spits out to the regurgitating young faces that come in and out.
And like, I even want to like, there's some times that I've just wanted to scream at him, here's the answers to those 5 questions. Please don't ever ask me again. Here it is.
A piece of paper here.
Yeah.
Refer to the card.
Yeah. Get paid a week from today. He's dopier than you. Yes, I am busy. Just all of them.
Okay. I used to work with an old guy, and his favorite line was, "You're all right." Whatever he would like, "Hey, you're all right." And if anybody says you're not all right, they're all right. I like to get along with everybody. That was his line.
Oh, God.
He would give you a compliment. Yeah. Okay. Can I go back downstairs?
I don't care what anybody else says about you. You're all right. It's like,
yeah.
And like, there's ways to deliver it. There's ways to deliver it that it's still funny.
There's also ways to just shut the fuck up. Especially at work. Like, my wife will tell you, like, I'm not even there. Like, there's people at work that don't know anything about me just because I am not there to make friends. I have enough friends. I'm there to get the job done. And if you're an obstacle blocking me from getting the job done, I'm, going to figure out a way around you because thank God I work at home. Sorry to go off on this tangent, but thank God I work at home.
Go ahead.
I used to hate sitting at my cubicle. Like, I got my headphones on, I'm typing away, I'm clearly like locked in, and someone would come over and stand with their cup of coffee and be like, "Hey, did you see Game of Thrones last Sunday?" And it's like, "Sure, I'll stop now. Let's talk about this show." Fucking hate that. Yeah, so working at home, I just fucking work.
You've never been more productive. Those motherfuckers have been jamming up the works for 50 years.
Yeah.
Of people in offices and cubicles.
I was built for remote work. I really was. That's the only thing I didn't like about work was the commute and the other people. No, they're both gone.
You don't have somebody lumberging their way in, fucking holding a cup of coffee dangling over the top of your cubicle.
Yeah.
Just ruining your day anytime they speak.
I mean, and I don't mean, like, if someone comes over and talked about work, like, "Hey, how do you do this? Hey, did you see that?" Whatever. All right, I'm all on board for that. But yeah, when they completely derail my productive day because they figured they'd go for a stretch. Let me go. Let's see what's going on with. Oh, I hate you. I hate you so much.
Hey, I'm not working. Neither are you, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Well, look for the people who are like on their phone, or not the guy with the headphones on that's clearly in the zone. Yeah.
Just sign on your back or something. Please don't ever speak to me. The following people.
Yeah, or maybe let's be realistic. Maybe just don't go to the miserable prick that doesn't want to talk to you. Leave him alone. I'll own that. Whatever.
Sign on your back says, "Have I ever wanted to talk to you before?"
Right.
Why do you think I do now?
Like when people IM me, they go, "Hi." I say hi. They say, "How was your weekend?" I say, "Fine. What's up?" Moving along. Yeah.
It would be so great to just hi. How was your weekend?
Fine! What do you want?
Scream. And then you just get sent home. And then you end up in the position you're in anyway.
Right.
It's a win-win.
Yeah, it worked.
Fucking work sucks.
Yeah.
Well, people suck. That's the problem with work.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, there's yin and yang, though. There's people out there that thrive on environments with other people and should be in jobs where, that kind of thing goes, where you're interacting with people and good for them. God bless. But then there's also software developers who don't want to talk to you, or, risk assessors like me. Whatever.
Folks. Last thing I will say about work is that there's a lady I work with who has a horse whose name is Luke. And Lauren works with somebody who has a horse whose name is Connor. Fucking, are people only naming their horses people names? That I'm fine with. I have no problem with it.
Right.
I just want to know if there has been a precedent set.
I don't know. All the racing horses have stupid names. It's like Mad Libs or something. They just throw shit together.
Yeah, it's just a phrase.
Yeah.
Like, late for work this morning and should have put more mustard on my hot dog and
Labor Day sale at Sears.
That wouldn't be the first time I put all my money into that, all right.
Labor Day sale getting on President's Day. President's Day on the inside track. Labor Day sale coming around. Labor Day
sale, and it's President's Day sale by a hair.
Hey, kind of a segue, but horse racing. My sister was telling me about this, but you ever heard the phrase "hands down"? He wins hands down.
Yeah,
everybody knows that means no contest, right? There's hands down. That's clear, far and away, better, whatever it is. But do you know where it originates from?
I do not.
Oh, well, hint, it's from horse racing, because we were just talking about that, and that's what sparked the thing. But
I was assuming so.
Yeah. But jockeys, as they're driving across the finish line, whipping, got the hands up. You can't see me unless you have some kind of camera, but they're whipping the horse, or they're hitting the back, or trying to get it go faster. If the jockey has enough of a lead, like the horse is that far ahead of the other horse, they could just drop their hands to their sides and cross the finish line and win hands down.
No
That's
shit.
Yeah. And that stupid term permeated all of language, or all of English, and we just use it for everything.
Oh, damn it. There was a similar good example of something like this that I was thinking of a week ago that I no longer remember. So, way to end that with a fizzle, Charles.
Well,
that's right.
Think about it and
I'm
bring it
Charles,
up.
by the way. I'm Charles, by the way, and that's Chris or Christopher.
I'm Chris.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, that's fine. You can be Chris.
Christopher. That's always if I'm in trouble. That was growing up, Christopher.
Yeah.
That's bad news.
Bad news, Christopher. They used to call you, right?
Yep, that they did.
That wasn't a joke.
Right.
That was more just a statement.
Yeah. Everybody knew me as bad news, Christopher.
All right, let's get into this now that I've stalled for time as much as I can. I was hoping to stall for 60 minutes, and oh no, we couldn't get into it.
Yeah, we know science. Sorry. No, this one is confusing. So to warm up, we're going to start with the standard model of particle physics. So
good, because I already don't get that part.
Okay, and that's the basis, I guess. Or, I mean, we've talked about quantum stuff, particles, waves, how they're things behave as both, and all that. There was, this all evolved over time, and I'm not going to go through everything, but people discovered atoms, and then discovered the nucleus and the electron, and discovered the photon, and all the other things. So little by little, we started noticing all the little shit, and putting names to it, and classifying it, measuring it, all that kind of stuff. Schrodinger, remember the Schrodinger's cat? So like, one of the bases. I both do and don't remember. Hey, that is true.
Right. Nice.
So he wrote the Schrodinger's equation, which kind of describes the wavelength or what's it called? The wave function of particles, like we've talked about, the subatomic things. Okay, so there's another notion in science. It's called invariance. It's a type of symmetry. All it means is, so if you got a rock at the top of the hill and you roll it down the hill to the bottom of the hill, you're going to have an equation that can talk about the energy, the speed, all that stuff. Whether this hill is 100 feet above sea level, at sea level, you can call the middle of the earth the bottom. Like, it doesn't matter where you say the bottom is, that equation of the rock rolling down the hill from one point to another will be the same. Does that make sense?
It does. Now, my follow-up question, does that only apply to Earth, since you said Earth is the example, or does it work that way anywhere?
It should work that way everywhere. That's one of the things about physics, or the things that we believe about physics, is it shouldn't matter where in the universe you are. These laws and these mathematics and these equations that describe everything should apply. Just like, I mean, it's simplistic and our brains don't even think of it, but if you face left and you throw a ball, or you face right and you throw a ball, the same thing is going to happen. It's like a symmetrical universe. It doesn't necessarily have to be that way. It's just that's how it's been for us for so long that it's just, of course, that would happen. But at a mathematical level, it doesn't have to. It just does, right? So
shit.
Yeah.
So we've been out here taking for granted that we could have people throwing with right and left hands. Like,
or just that if you're standing in one spot, the ball goes up and down, versus if you were to move to a different spot and throw it in the other direction, maybe it would go out and come back. Like, there's different possible laws of physics that could happen. We happen to have those that are fairly symmetrical.
Okay.
Yeah. And these symmetries are everywhere. We see them in big things, little things. There's like conservation of energy, conservation of charge, like the universe wants to conserve things, and it tries to keep everything lowest energy possible. Like we would, I think in an earlier episode, the universe is lazy. So it wants everything as low energy as possible, and symmetry is easy. There are certain, again, now going back to Schrodinger's equation. So with the wavelength of light that Schrodinger's equation would describe, it is a symmetrical equation in that if you were to take the entire wavelength and shift it left or shift it right, everything would be the same, right?
Right.
If now you were to zoom in on one particular spot on that wavelength and shift that left or shift that right, it would kind of break the wave. It would up, down, and then you have this little divot coming out and divot coming back in, and then shift, right?
And it's not even that you're breaking the wave up. It's you're just focusing in on one specific part of it.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
One tiny little piece, and if you were to shift that, it would break everything. Which means that this is not, I think it's called gauge invariant is the mathematical term for it, but it doesn't allow for that shift, like if you were throwing left versus throwing right versus throwing north versus throwing south. Physicists didn't like that. They disagreed with it. They said there should be some number, something that we can throw, some term we can throw into the Schrodinger equation that doesn't impact the equation, but allows for this invariance kind of. So, smarter people than us tooled the numbers and worked the equations and eventually figured it out. And they saw that this term, if we throw it in here, it doesn't screw up the equation, but it allows for these individual invariances in different places.
And when you say term, you're talking like an X or a Y or something like that.
Something like, yeah, it's probably, it's actual a couple of things in this place, but like minus Y lambda over Z squared, some bullshit like that. That completely made that up, but yeah. But they threw in a term. Yeah.
Both myself and anyone who is listening believed you until you said, I just made that up.
Yeah. Yeah. Zing. No, yeah, complete. Like I said, the math stuff is over my head, especially this equation. And then like the standard model equation itself is a complete, it's a monster, but, I know they threw in this term. When they took a step back and looked at this term, it matched the equation for the electromagnetic field for electromagnetism. So it turned out if you take the wavelength function of anything and add electromagnetism to it, it allows for these weird invariances all over the place. So there's a specific term that represents electromagnetism. Yeah.
As a whole?
That you can, so you can calculate like the amount of electricity. I forget what the charge would be. Like an energy is a joule, whatever this is, a hertz or kilowatt or whatever. But whatever would get you that is the equation for electromagnetism.
So then, just electromagnetism would have to be like it would have to be consistent enough that you'd be able to throw it into an equation. Then. Yeah.
Okay. This is it's a well-known thing. Like they'd already existed. This equation for electromagnetism already existed, developed completely separate from this. And then when they were messing with Schrodinger's equation, it emerged. So the point of all that is to say the various forces seem to emerge from the symmetries of the universe. So because of all this symmetry and these things that kind of balance each other, and that's where the forces kind of look to get their like you remember you can turn the dial and then set different settings on different forces, and ours are set to certain things, but it seems like the symmetry of our universe or what caused these forces to be the numbers they are.
I don't remember that, but I will take your word for it.
Well, no, just we talked about the four forces and that if they were any different, matter wouldn't be what it is now. Yeah.
Right, okay. I remember the four forces.
So the finely tuned settings of those four forces seem to arise because of the symmetries of the universe, at least in the math.
All right, so that's the first holy shit moment just right now. And I know you've been preaching that it's amazing that anything exists at all with how perfect these settings are. So it's all of the settings of everything is just so precisely perfect that we're here now talking about stuff on microphones into computers. Shit.
Why?
Right.
Yeah. How? Why? How? It's a mind fuck. Part of what they're trying to, the scientists are trying to get to the bottom of that. I don't know if they have an answer. I don't know if they got closer or anything. There's a lot of crazy ideas, but yeah.
And they're trying to get to the bottom of, we've done enough episodes that I can say we are trying to figure out who set the settings initially, who's tweaking the knobs until they got rid of all the white fuzz, and we got the Howdy Doody show, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, that works, and
right.
and it could be that like I was saying, so the symmetries of the universe, they looked at all this stuff and eventually identified all of the forces and all of the things that actually make up matter. And again, they just seem to kind of arise from whatever underlying thing that they're still trying to figure out. But that's what the standard model is, because physicists aren't all that imaginative. So, they're like, this will set the standard. We'll call this, it's the standard model, and they're good enough. But these are the building blocks, are our best understanding of everything that we can see. And I think there's, let's say 16 or maybe 17 total, broken up into two different categories. One is called bosons, which, like the Higgs boson is the most famous one of those, but that is also the photon, the W and Z boson. Well, the bosons that do the strong, I think gluons are in there too. The strong is the gluons, electromagnetism, and the weak nuclear force. The bosons are force-carrying particles, which just means that some of them don't even have mass, but that's how force is transmuted between two fermions, which is the other category. And the fermions are, again, I think there's baryons and leptons. It's all broken down into various different ons. And the baryons are the quarks and actual stuff that makes up the nucleus. The leptons are the electrons, neutrinos, muons. There's some other things, but they're slightly less mass, but they do other things.
All right, and quarks, just to keep my head. So quarks are what the nucleus of atoms are made up of.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, quarks are protons and neutrons.
Okay, and that's the next smallest thing after atoms is quarks.
That's as small as we've proven so far.
Okay.
Quarks, electrons, bosons. That's kind of, most of the stuff in the standard model decays very quickly, or turns into something else, or has a short lifespan where they pop in and out of existence, like we've talked about. Like there's a lot of weird virtual stuff with a lot of them, but yeah, it's mostly quarks and electrons that are the stuff that you can see.
Now, why does everything, like, so there's bosons and what's the other one? Freons?
Leptons. Fermions is all of the matter. Yeah.
Okay. Fermions is all the matter.
Sorry.
And bosons
and fermions, you're right.
Oh, okay.
No, you're right. I'm correcting myself. Sorry for cutting you off.
okay.
You said it right, and I fucked up.
All right. Well,
yeah.
fucking finally, I'm right. Holy shit.
Yeah.
But so why do they all sound like that? And why is Quark called Quark? Like, why does it sound like somebody got poked in the ribs, like just below the armpit? Like they're like, "What is this thing called?" And they just poked him and just like, "Quark!" You know, just like, why that?
Like someone with wet shoes walking through on tiles and Quark, 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 Quark.
Every confident duck as it strolls by, just Quark, 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 Quark. I'm late for eating bread at a pond. Quark, Quark.
I don't know where the names came from, or if I've ever learned them, I forgot them. Yeah, I don't know. Physicists just kind of like scientists in general. Really, it's just like whatever's near them. They're like, Tim came up with it. It's a Timoid. Or, I don't know. Like whatever's near them, and then they throw some shit on it. Like the various. Okay, switch into geology for a minute, but like as they dig through rocks, and we have all the different names of the different errors and stuff, errors over time and stuff like that. And most of them are just named after where they found the rocks. Like I'm trying to think of one, but like the what can I think of? The Permian era. There was in like Permian, England or something like that. You know, whatever.
Oh, okay. Oh, so
yeah.
like the
a Devonian, because they found the rocks near Devonshire. That's one that's actually true. I just made up the other one. But the Devonian era, they named this era in time the Devonian because the rocks that they looked at that showed them it happened were in Devonshire. So it's just like they looked up at the road sign and were like, "Yeah, name it that." Like that's very imaginative.
And I feel like since it's British people, they were being snarky that they were like, I say, have you heard of these rocks they've found near Devonshire that they've decided to call Devonian? As have I.
What?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's just shitty enough for British people to other British people. Like, I've heard of the thing you're talking about. Fucking scoundrel. How dare you? How dare you? Quick aside. So you know how language, like some stuff is offensive and some stuff is not offensive. Like over time, like stuff that used to be offensive isn't, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So I heard plenty of times, because we went to an all boys high school, gentlemen, and I use the term loosely. Like, the first guy that said that was you like, gentlemen, and I use the term loosely. Like, did the room lose their shit and kill him?
They must have been, just like rolling on the floor or slapping knees with,
Or
it was either, like out for death or the funniest thing they've ever heard in their life. I don't know which. Which were you going for?
Yeah, it was.
So I think
it was kill or be killed, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, it either made people lose their shit, and then how fucking dare he? Or if someone said it like a comedic atmosphere, it killed to the point that people are still doing it 200 years later.
Like I love to picture somebody like, and I use the term like gentlemen, yes, and I use the term loosely. What the fuck did you say to me? Like, just like people are just holding him back. Like,
he stands up, say it to my face.
It's like the Chris Farley Folgers taste test commercial on SNL where it's just there's 5 people holding him back because they tricked him and gave him Folgers instead of the instant coffee he's used to.
I use the term loosely. I've worked my entire life doing it.
Am I not dressed with my stockings to my knees? Have I not white makeup on my face and a fop wig? And you use the term loosely. I challenge you to a duel.
Yeah, that was a glove slap.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I think people should duel more. Let's just do it.
I don't know if it's legal. I don't know if you could just... I mean, I think people do still duel, but it's kind of like spontaneous. It doesn't... It's not like I'll meet you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like it's pistols at dawn, like it used to be.
Yeah. And even like back then, the cops would be there as a ref. Like, now do it fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now the cops would just shoot both of them. There's your
like,
duel.
Yeah, I got. Ooh, very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. There's your dual police reports. Am I right?
Yeah.
Oh man, what are we talking about? What did I fucking
Standard model. Model. So all of that was just to point out that we figured out what everything that we can see is made of. The standard model is our best understanding of the building blocks of things. It still does not explain dark matter. It still does not explain dark energy. Those are mysteries. And we still don't have a boson for gravity. That's the one where I say that we don't understand what gravity is made of. We know how it works. We can calculate it very well. We can measure it very well, but we don't have that elusive graviton as the hypothesized boson that should be out there. So obviously, where that ends, that's where other scientists now try to make additional, advancements in science. And, one of the ideas is supersymmetry. Supersymmetry is both like a general idea of just equations being able to kind of reflect each other in different ways. But in particle physics, there's the thought that there's almost another side to space, I guess is one way to look at it. And for every fermion, there should be a corresponding boson. And for every boson, there should be a corresponding fermion. Almost like if you picture the top side of space, I guess, having like half a dumbbell sticking up, and then the bottom side of space having the other half of the dumbbell sticking down, if that makes sense. So where you have a quark, the supersymmetric particle on the other side of space would be a squark, and that would be a boson. And
is that really the name?
Yep.
Squark?
I mean, they're not real things. We don't know that they're there, but that is the hypothesized name.
Right, but somebody handed in a paper and was like, "Yep, I just put an S in front of quark. What the fuck are you gonna do?"
And the supersymmetry particle for the electron is the selectron.
Is it really? Oh man, it's putting S's in front of everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except
I'm on
bosons.
board.
Yeah. It's so
fucking lazy.
bullshit.
I'm in.
But for the bosons, they do something different. I'm trying to think of what. Oh, they put eno, so it's like gluino, the w-eno, the z-eno. So those are the other side of the bosons there.
So it's just nicknames for people who went to high school on Staten Island.
It pretty much, yeah.
Hey, Gluino, what are you doing? Hey, Zeno, Bogagino, I got you fucking Bogagino right here. Fuck out of here. They seem to say.
Yeah, that sounds like the cover of Science fucking magazine.
I got your Glugino right here.
Hey, it is fun. Quarks and Bluinos, huh?
It's pronounced Squawks and Bluino. It was something much longer, but they shortened it to Squark at Ellis Island.
Move along. Yeah.
You're a Squark. Don't be a piece of shit. They just used to say that at Ellis Island. They stamp your book. Here you go, America, don't be a piece of shit. Here you go, America, don't be a piece of shit.
Little did they know. Everyone's a piece of shit.
This country's built on pieces of shit.
Anyway, so the thing about supersymmetry is it doesn't seem to work. It doesn't seem to fit. It doesn't make sense in our 3 or 4 dimensional universe, if you include, because space-time, there's 3 dimensions of space, 1 of time. But the person who came up with it thought, okay, but it doesn't work here. What if there are more dimensions? So it does seem to work if there are additional dimensions. Additional dimensions being, instead of just length, width, and height, more spatial dimensions. Obviously, we don't see them. So the hypothesis was, all right, what if they're just curled up really, really small on a subatomic scale? And that's why you can't see them. They're invisible for all intents and purposes. Again, it doesn't sound realistic, and this idea was just kind of out there and, almost pushed to the side. Now we go from there to string theory. With string theory, the thought is all of these 16 subatomic particles, the standard model. String theorists say if you go even smaller, it's possible that everything is made of the same thing. A string, a filament, a kind of fundamental piece of space, piece of energy that vibrates in different ways. I guess kind of like a guitar string, basically, that, depending on how long or how short it is, it has different vibrational frequencies, makes different sounds. These strings, depending on how they vibrate, could make the particles, everything else that, is identified in this standard model. Using this, they think they would also be able to quantize gravity and identify a graviton and blah, 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 blah. There's all these wonderful things that string theory can potentially do. Where about 40 years later, there was supposed to be experiments that could prove string theory, but we're still not there yet. It still doesn't seem to be true. There were also multiple versions of string theory. So somebody else now stepped in and said, wait a minute, maybe there's not multiple versions of string theory. Maybe there's just different ways of looking at it, and combine that, again, with the supersymmetry that we talked about, and I'll tell you how in a minute, and came up with M theory. So M theory is the new hopeful potential theory of everything that will show what everything is made of. M theory consists of something called branes, B-R-A-N-E, short for membrane.
Okay.
It says, So it says that.
I was about to get mad. No, I was about to get mad.
Okay.
Just being well, this is made of brains, but it's an eye. There's no eye in this brain. It's like, at least it's short for something. So I appreciate that.
It came from membranes, Okay. So now going back to supersymmetry, where we have potential, like zoom in, zoom way in, you could have these dimensions of space curled up on each other, folded up and everything like that. The theory is that membranes, these branes, are kind of elastic and can wrap around and inside and almost like stretch across these multiple smaller dimensions, these multiple smaller supersymmetric dimensions. What the theory with M theory is that because of the supersymmetry of these dimensions, because of the shapes and the symmetry, that determines how these brains fold. And if you zoom in, or as these brains fold around things, if you zoom out far enough, they look like strings. For example, what I'm trying to say is, so if you were to look at a telephone wire from 20 feet away, or no, even go back further, let's go 100 feet away. 100 feet away, and you're looking at a wire between two telephone poles. From there, that looks one-dimensional, right? It just looks like a line. Now, if you're an ant walking along that wire, you can go across, you can go around, right? There's now you have 3 dimensions. You have an up, down, you have a left, right, you have a, well, I guess it's really only 2 in that case. So you can go around one way, you can go back and forth the other way. So the thought is, imagine you saran wrap around the telephone wire. Up close, you can see it's wrapped around a thing. Go back to that 100 feet, it looks like a string, right? So that's the idea with these membranes wrapping around these tiny little dimensions. And if you zoom out far enough, it looks like a string. And that's supersymmetry of these dimensions, how they fold into each other, dictates the vibration, which dictates the particle, which
All right. So, man, give me a second. So I heard, I listened to a thing with apparently it's pronounced Mishu Kaku, not Michu.
Sorry.
But no, we both said it wrong. I was not correcting.
We love him.
Either one of
us.
us. Yeah, he's delightful. My issue was, and I think you at least got that out of the way for me, like, because he would always say, think of an ant. An ant can look forward, back, behind, it can look side to side, but it can't look up. And I was always like, ants get on the fucking ceiling. Of course they can fucking look up. What the fuck does
Isn't that from
mean?
Shaun of the Dead? Dogs can't look up?
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it is. That's right. I wasn't even putting that together. But yeah, like but now that you're putting it in if you're on a telephone wire, they're as high up as they can go. There's no house to take up to give them the perspective of going up,
right?
Of what up is. Then they can't necessarily see it.
And I mean, it's supposed to be a thought experiment because obviously, why would an ant be up there necessarily? And you're not going to be looking at a telephone wire is a wire that you're just far away from. But yeah, it's
like that thought experiment. The first video I ever watched on string theory and I think I brought up just that this dude that I worked with was like, oh yeah, this will totally make it easier for you. And it was animated and it was ants walking on stuff. And then it was like, well, now we're just going to zoom up to this. It was like, hold on. I don't get why that's happening still. And it would just fucking glaze over it still. And I still, it's trying to introduce to your mind the idea that there's all these additional dimensions, but then they're also too small to be able to comprehend,
right,
with the way your brain interprets everything else.
There have been experiments, though, to try to find these dimensions. So I guess the idea is scientists believe that gravity is the one thing that should be kind of communicated across these different dimensions. So first with the LHC, they thought that when they smashed some particles together, that they should lose some of that energy to these smaller dimensions. They didn't. It didn't disprove anything as far as the most gung-ho M theory enthusiasts are concerned, because they just say that just means our accelerator isn't powerful enough. We got to beef it up. Then we saw, like, black holes collide all the time, or black holes collide frequently enough that we can measure the waves, the gravitational waves as they ripple towards us. We actually have seen neutron stars collide. Like black holes, you can't see anything except the gravitational waves. Neutron stars, you can see the light. So you can figure out how massive these stars were, how much energy was given off. You can measure the gravitational waves that come out of them. So again, now they were able to see, here's how much energy went in. If these smaller dimensions exist, we should lose some of the gravitational waves, some of the gravitational energy should be lost in these other dimensions. Again, they were not. So, I mean, the idea of string theory and M theory and supersymmetry, it's elegant mathematically. It makes everything fit. But there have been attempts to verify that it exists in nature. And as far as we can see so far, it doesn't. So, I mean, all of this crazy thinking that we're doing might be for nothing. There might be something there. Maybe we do need a particle accelerator the size of the solar system. Good luck funding that. But yeah, so far the standard model has been all the smallest that we've been able to prove.
Man, that is exhausting.
And people are still at it. They're still saying, no, we just don't have, we got to do something else right. But I mean, 2 neutron stars colliding is a lot of friggin' energy. I mean, I don't know how much bigger you can get than maybe 2 supermassive black holes and like a galaxy merge or something like that. Like, but even that, again, it's black holes. So it's not going to give us that other potential energy that we can measure the way neutron stars would. I mean, it's kind of like, I hate to be the guy to do it, but I'm gonna call it. It's what's today's date? 7:46 on Sunday, February 26th is I'm gonna say supersymmetry and string theory, DOA. Sorry.
Wow. Oh man.
I'm just Mishu Kaku. I'm kidding. I love you.
I was gonna say I appreciate the hot take.
Yeah.
And I'm also furious that you made me watch all that shit just to tell me it's not real. It's like, fuck you, man.
No, I mean it's the way I guess scientists are thinking about it now. It seems like maybe that direction wasn't necessarily the right one. They got to pivot and go another way. I don't know. Obviously, nobody knows. Otherwise, they would have figured it out by now. But those tiny dimensions, we have not been able to prove that they exist through experiments.
Like
the math fits nice.
I get why, and I'm not about to just go back to church, but I get why people like religion, because it's just so much easier to wrap your head around. No, right. There's a guy up there who likes you if you're good.
Yeah.
So just
he pushed the button.
Yeah, he just said yes, and it was.
Yeah. And he was like, "We need sheep and goats too."
No. We need the nuance of different types of milk and cheese. So we need cows, goats, sheeps, cats.
I'm going to make pigs and I'm going to make scallops, but I'm going to put them in 2 different places, and it's up to them to figure out how well they go together.
I'm going to put bugs on the land so people can get revolted by them, and then I'm going to put bugs underwater, and everyone's going to think it's a delicacy.
Yeah. I'll just make them real big in the water.
Yeah. No, the bigger bugs are delicious.
Yeah.
Rest assured.
I'll eat bug ass right now. Give me a lobster.
Like that was one of.
Well, I mean, no, go ahead.
Oh no, it's just that I'm happy that I developed a shrimp allergy in time for me to realize that I'm just eating bugs.
Yeah, fair.
Now I can't, like, I like the taste of shrimp, but Man, they are fucking bugs, dude.
Yeah. I'll squish it and eat it. I don't give a fuck. That don't bother me. But, hey, whatever's. I don't eat fucking broccoli, so.
But you don't eat like cicadas.
No. Yet. I don't know how well, if you boil them and dip them in butter, maybe they're good. We've been wasting all this time in the sea. Every 17 years, I should be going out with a net. Like, instead of being like, oh, shit, the swarm's coming, we could be like, the swarm's coming, the swarm's coming. Yeah.
Oh, man, fucking whatever the green cicadas got the swarm is coming sale. It's a bad.
Is that a horse name?
You did something with my dumb Red Lobster joke. So fucking good on you. That is a lot of shit, and I honestly, I am gonna have a lot of questions.
Can you imagine that being your job, though? Like, your job is to sit and think about that shit all day and be like, wait, no, that won't work. Wait, and then write some shit down, and then it's God damn it.
I'm already half regretting having you explain dumbed down versions to me as a hobby. Imagine my mortgage depended on me not only studying it and comprehending it, but I also had to solve for X.
And you have to write a book about it, and everyone else that does that for a living is just looking to tear that book up. And so, yeah. I can't even imagine. Like, you go home and your wife says, what do you want for dinner? My brain's done. You're going to have to make this decision and every decision until the morning. You want me to lift something? I will hammer something in. Like, whatever. Cannot. Brain is done.
Oh, I know. It's so hard to decide on what we had for dinner tonight. It's not like I was trying to figure out why the fuck we're here.
Yeah.
At all.
I'm trying to identify. Oh, yeah. I didn't even say this. M theory. So as they're doing the math, putting all this together, okay, everything is made of these strings that are really brains wrapped around tiny. It only works in 11 dimensions. So that means 10 space, 1 time. So they tried this in 6 dimensions, and like and it just didn't work. And it was only after they got to 11 that it was like, aha, it works. It's real. Like, maybe it's not real then. If we have to like invent I don't know, but
that's what and there's definitely more intricate ways of understanding it, but just going, well, what if we had another dimension? Sounds like just borrowing money from another credit card to pay off your other credit card debt.
Right.
Like, you're just moving the money around, but you're not getting to the fucking bottom of it.
Right. No, that's a good point.
But
it's making the universe fit your math rather than using the math to measure the universe.
Yeah. Fucking scientists.
But like we started talking about, there's precedent to that with Schrodinger's equation, where there has to be another term to allow us to do this, and it turned out to be the electromagnetic equation, or whatever the hell the right term for it is. So that there is a precedence to scientists being stubborn, forcing some idea that they have, and then the math producing something that they wanted. So that's kind of why I guess that they're insistent that what they're looking at is right.
And well, I am glad you said that, because then this brings something else that I wrote down. Grassmann numbers. So there's just so we've had all these numbers and I realize I sound like, why do we need new numbers? The ones we got are good. Like,
right. What's wrong with the beer we got? It drank pretty good.
What's some of them numbers? 3? What's some of them other ones?
4.
4? What's another one? 5?
They had pretty good. Well, I'll definitely have to link that.
But Grassman numbers, or Grossman numbers. So it was like our math isn't working with these numbers, but if we had a whole spectrum of other numbers that we don't know what they are yet. Like that's
they're kind of like make believe numbers, or like these represent other potential numbers. What they represent though is pretty cool because they actually represent like a thing. It's called a spinor. I think it's like not a spinner, a spinor. There's OR at the end. And
sounds like it sounds like a bad guy from He-Man. Spin.
My newest henchman, Spinor. But what they are is most things, you hold it up and you spin it around 360 degrees. It goes back to the position it was in. Spinors, you hold it and you rotate it 360 degrees. It's not back in the same position. You actually have to go 720 to get it back in the same position. So I'm trying to show you that with my hand, but I don't think it's working good necessarily. But it's kind of like if you hold a coffee mug and spin it under your hand and then out and then back around, and you have to kind of like do a second turn to get it back to where you're holding the mug in front of your face.
It's like when the people spin the plates around and like just like you start up there and then you go in.
Yeah, that arm position, that weird arm position. So it's kind of like the plate is in the same spot, but your arm is facing the wrong way, and it's not until another full turn with your arm that now your arm and plate are back in that original position.
So why don't they just double the numbers? Cut it in half and double it.
Grassman numbers I don't really understand, but they were invented because regular numbers didn't work for these spinors that have a half spin versus regular bosons that are 360 spin and have a spin of 1, or like an actual, the other ones are half and these are whole spins. It's very confusing. One of the things I know about the Grassman numbers is if you square them, they equal 0 somehow. So like 1 times itself is actually 0, versus if you have 2 bosons, multiply those numbers or square them, you actually get a value. It goes up with real numbers. But this all comes from what we were talking about with like, how come when we talked about electrons not liking to share space with the collapse of a star. So it's the same idea with when you sit in a chair, how come you don't fall through the chair? The electrons, if you were to square them, because they're these they represented by these Gaussian numbers, and Gaussian numbers squared equals 0, the electrons would actually wipe each other out. So that force, those electrons pushing against each other and then the protons pushing against each other, that's what keeps you from falling through a chair, even though you and the chair are made of the same shit.
Jesus Christ.
So it's just a representation of that we can't do with regular numbers. And they're weird.
Shit. Just shit.
Yeah. Fuck this.
Oh, man, this is fucking hard.
Next episode we'll go back to like dinosaurs or something fun.
We're just gonna name dinosaurs.
Yeah. This name animals in general.
Yeah, we're just gonna rattle off. All right, I like that one. That's a good one. That's a good one. I like how sloth is a little clunky at the end, but it gives it a good sound. It's very consonant heavy. Very concept heavy animal. I like it. Regardless of the amount of toes. Man,
it's crazy. Crazy shit. And this is what everything is supposedly made of, or for the most part.
Like I would like to listen to this again when I can hit rewind and get things through my head, and also not trying to be thinking of jokes at the same time, and I can actually get it all in my head and watch
and
the
not
shit
drunk.
you sent
Don't leave
me.
that out.
Yeah, that's all right.
I'm in the same boat. I love when I listen back and like to try to record the links or whatever, and I'm just like, oh fuck, I was so wrong on that.
And see, that's one of the good things that I have to do is not bring any facts at all. I don't show up with fact one other than something that I thought of. And it's a fact to me.
Right, that's all that matters.
Yeah. So when I finally felt bad about when I realized I was wrong with the Edison Alexander Graham Bell joke, it's like, oh god damn it! Do you feel that every week? Shit.
Yeah, probably.
Oh man.
But I've also I feel like self-awareness is so key. Like I know how stupid I am, and I know I'm just repeating things that I heard smarter people say. So when I get something wrong, it's not, my job doesn't depend on it, my life doesn't depend on it. I go, oh fuck, I thought he said this, and then that's it. Oh, he said that. Okay. My favorite is when I'm listening back and I say universe instead of solar system, or vice versa. I do that a lot.
Yeah, I definitely made a mental note, which means I didn't write it down, which means I forgot it immediately. But but I made a mental note to, if I'm explaining a premise or a reference to something, just fucking over-explain it, because I know it in my head. But I know that there's times that I'm listening and it's like, oh yeah, you just said, hey, the thing that that guy was in, yeah, it was good. And just like that, it just glaze over. It's just like nobody knows what you're talking about.
Yeah. No, same.
All right.
We're getting better at this. Hopefully, this episode 10, hopefully everyone likes us and wants us to keep trying to get better.
Oh man, can we just do all the episode numbers in Grossman numbers?
Sure. I think they're just like, it'll just be like a circle with another half circle through it, kind of like the theta symbol. Just a bunch of times. Would it be one and then two of them for two? I don't know. Like
George Carlin had a joke about scientists coming up with discovering a new number. It's a number between 3 and 5, and it's called Bleen or some shit like that. And it was like hippy dippy weatherman era George Carlin, where it was just silly and just non sequitur bullshit, making noises before he got real dark and heavy and awesome.
Yeah. We've said it before. I mean, scientists kind of like, science is just measuring, seeing what we got, measuring it, making a prediction on what's going to happen. So like these Grossman numbers or whatever, they came up because we didn't have a way to label what we were seeing. And so like, all right, let's just invent this label that's like number-ish.
Like
put that on it.
The balls on Phil Grossman to just be like, nope. Well, we'll just have to get new numbers then, because these don't work.
Yeah. Your numbers aren't good enough. Yeah. I'm gonna make my own numbers. And then everyone was eventually like, yeah, they don't make sense, but we'll use them.
All right, fine. I get, and that's the people that get the jobs doing this aren't the type to put up fights.
No,
I mean,
yeah,
they'll put
true.
up mental fights, but like, I get Grossman was probably just like a fucking jock. And it was like, no, well, then we're coming up with new numbers, bro. And it's like, all right, don't fucking hurt me. We'll do the.
I mean, and in a profession where you're seeing, turns out we need 11 dimensions. Like you probably get used to, let's roll with it and see what happens. Who the fuck knows what it's going to be?
Yeah, just keep coming up with new everything. Fucking new everything. Yep. Kind of adjacent. One of my favorite. I don't know if you ever watched Idiot Abroad or the Ricky Gervais show with Carl Pilkington. Who just
Idiot Abroad sounds familiar, but I didn't see the Ricky Gervais show.
It was
Idiot Abroad is it was
the podcast radio show or whatever that he was doing, and this guy Carl Pilkington, that was a producer on the show, and would just say the most ridiculous shit in the world you could ever think of. Like, they had a segment called Monkey News for a while, and he'd come in and read an article about monkeys, and they'd ask him questions about it. There was another one where he what was the thing of the like, quick, on the spot, come up with an adventure right now that you think we need. See-through skin. Like, just like, but he was good. Like, he would say good stuff. Like, yeah. He said he had a theory that there was only a finite number of sounds. Like, we've probably all made the there's only so many sounds that people can make and animals can make and everything. And it's like, you think we have a sound for everything, and then let's say they come out with a new frog. You're like,
they.
But same deal. Like, he's thinking that next level. It's like, all right, well, what happens if they come out with a new frog? What sound is that frog gonna make?
Now we got a new sound.
Yeah, we're out of sounds. This frog is just gonna sound like a door opening or whatever the fuck thing he was thinking of.
Yeah, you really have to be open to everything.
Yeah.
Like when it's like, wait a minute, so protons are positive, but they stick together because there's a virtual muon being passed between them? How does, like, all right, let's just roll with it, add it up.
Like, science is really just improv. It's just it's improv with bigger words.
Yeah.
Like, it's just yes ending every fucking theory that you've heard. It's like, oh yes, and
right.
And also there's quarks. There's also quarks. There are quarks, and there's squarks too.
Probably,
yeah.
Probably squarks. Must be squarks.
Yeah, it's got to be squarks and selectrons and
and neutrinos and.
Selectron sounds like Selectron sounds like a Twilight Zone robot that would pick things for you.
Selectron, which pants should I wear?
You should wear the brown slacks. They're at
Selectron, I don't know which apple is ripe.
Trick question. Neither is ripe. They're grapes. Man, well, this shit's hard.
Yeah.
This shit's real hard.
This is the cutting edge of shit. This is, science is trying to figure out this is the frontier. What's next? So.
Well, like you said, let's move back to the blunt edge that doesn't cut things anymore. This fucking episode.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Hopefully,
spread it out. Or I'm gonna listen to it and I'm just gonna have an hour's worth of questions. It's just gonna be
that'd be good.
It's gonna be a follow up of this one. Or maybe we'll release it as like a mini episode, man. I don't know why that's podcast producer guy voice, but
yeah. I mean, hopefully at some point, I mean, we're going to run out of ideas, I think. So, I mean, maybe some of this stuff will spark questions, like you said, and we can get a topic going from there.
All right. Well, then,
if not, I am fucking down to name animals.
we'll just do the drink while you think game. It's just naming animals.
Dog, go.
Cat. Caterpillar. Okay. Fucking A.
Fun.
All right. Man,
Yeah.
I guess 85 to 90 minutes is the new normal.
That's what we do now, I guess, yeah.
Here's the thing that I guess we should have been doing the entire time. Like what you hear, rate us, comment on us, subscribe to us.
You know the deal. You listen to podcasts, liking and sharing and subscribing and reviewing and all that. It helps us.
Yeah.
If you love us, help us.
Yeah, it helps our metrics and our numbers and our data and our information and other words that mean that stuff too.
Yeah. And those help us with money. I hope.
Patreon coming soon.
I think that's how it works. Yeah. Is it? Nice.
I said it.
Why, yeah.
They're not going to hear this episode till April, so it gives me time to work on it.
Good point.
Yeah.
Well done.
I don't know. Patreon could be release the video element of it.
That's true. We do have.
We
have
could do that if you want to see my.
We will definitely answer your question. If you give us money, we'll answer your questions way above even my friends.
If you give us money, we will answer your question first instead of second. Got any ideas that you want to give us money for?
Yeah, give us money, we'll do it.
In the meantime, under the guise of science, guys always spelled Guise. Until there's a porno made about this, and that's
they'll spell it different.
Yeah, they will. Under the guise of science, at Gmail, on Facebook, on Instagram, and go ahead, you show off with your Twitter.
Twitter at Science Guys.
Fucking Christ.
GUIC. And for Patreons that eventually hear this, I don't care how much money you give us, we will not make a porno. Someone else is gonna have to do it.
Produce. We can produce a porno.
I'll produce the fuck out of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not on screen though.
Yeah. It's either going to be Seth Rogen or Jonah Hill playing me, and the guy that played what's his name? The Winter Shoulder.
Oh, Sebastian Stan.
There you go.
Wish.
Well, you have hair and a beard and stuff.
That's true.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's our movie. We can cast who we want.
And it has to be someone that people want to watch. Fuck, right? Not me.
Yeah.
I need someone.
And what's good is that with me, I'm like, who do you want? Russian roulette. Me, Seth Rogen, or Jonah Hill. You're not going to win with any of them.
No. Yeah, I was thinking for me, like that's Sean Pennish. Like, yeah, Sebastian Stan. Hell yeah, I'll take that.
Sean Penn. You fancy yourself a Sean Penn?
More than a Sebastian Stan. Like, there's degrees to ugliness, good lookingness.
Oh shit! All right, yeah.
I was thinking.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Which celebrity has a stupid nose? There we go. Sean Penn. That's me.
Mickey Rourke, but you don't.
There we go.
You don't have the lips to have Mickey Rourke play you.
Yeah, and Mickey Rourke's got to like sit in a room and just eat Twinkies and not work out for a while.
Plus, your face doesn't look like it's been stuck in one of those tubes that they shoot bank deposits up through, or at least they used to. And it's just been sucking on his face.
The pressure.
Yeah. I'm amazed he doesn't have bug eyes.
Oh, he must have really strong eyelids.
He does intense trap, lat, and upper body workouts, and his eyelids.
And his eyelids, yeah. Don't skip eyelid day.
That's a good place to end, and a potential episode name.
Nice.
All right, see you next time, folks.